from DSL Streaming. Go ahead and put the link up here. And for the first fight, we do have an aerial druid versus an aerial warlock. So Albert, you seem to be topping pretty fast. Do you have any thoughts? Or?
I may be blessing, man. Come on.
Okay, well, I will give my initial impression, which is that the aerial warlock, if it is brewed up, can make this a difficult fight. Really, the question is if the aerial has withstand death brewed in myriad numbers, then Alleluia's main job is going to be either to have enough damage output to kill off the withstand lag, or to encap the aerial warlock in some kind of way. Really, the big question of this fight and how easily it's going to go for either person is, does the aerial warlock have withstands, and can Alleluia get through that? So what do you think, Albert, initially?
I will be slowed the whole match. That's what I think.
Okay, so you think it's going to be an uphill battle?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we will see. As always, if somebody could tune in and let me know that the stream is live, I would appreciate it. We are 15 seconds to go. I will be casting most of the first fight for obvious reasons. And we are at the go mark. Let me see. The time is 3:30 a.m. So shadow form is a thing. Thanks for letting me know, Gus. So Hexarian will be able to shadow form up until the AM. It won't
I
be
just
too
have
long.
protection up, so he
Yeah.
made me protect the wrong alignment.
So I will assume that you still are protected wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just to warn you guys, I'm not going to say that much just because it might be a conflict of interest to coach directly on stream with no pause, but I'm sure Alleluia knows what to do anyway, so I'll try to balance between those two. Right now, the screeches are going off. Alleluia had a gourd tossed on him that forced him to protect in a different
I guess
manner than he
double
prefer.
slows are real.
And that does look to be the first slow of the match, which makes it very difficult for the aerial druid to get the output that they would like. There's the Charmy gear right there. That could make a difference. Hexarian, it's important to note, has taken very little damage so far, and if he's brewed up, then he'll have withstands to boot. So to have Alleluia dip into yellow at this point is very good news for Hexarian thus far. The air elemental is blind. The wild bear is as well. The bear is weakened to offset any gear that might be worn. We are just seeing a trade of damage here. Now, Alleluia does stand to have an issue here because Hexarian is out-damaging Alleluia at this point. There's the reduce. And Alleluia's outputs, I mean, those rays are not doing much damage to Hex to even proc the withstands at this point. Both canceled. Hexarian does Sanctuary off the Cure Blind. Both players cancel. This was very smart of Alleluia to get the blind off and then cancel, because what he wanted to do was get that protection difference out. That would have made an enormous difference over the course of the match. So he did buy enough time with that blind to go ahead and get his protect back up as it should be. So there should not be as much of a damage disparity at this point. Both are just running around. Hexarian is trying to throw something, potentially a slow again. I am pausing a moment just because I don't want to give anything away. Alleluia doing work to kill the images. Hexarian is making use of some gourds that used to be utilized much more often back in the old days, which were zombies, among other things, but at that point you could have multiple of those charmies, which made warlocks much more difficult to fight. Imagine fighting against Tauren, who could have multiple charmies up and then had a special brewing concoction, it was rumored, that would cancel you and then energy drain you off that, which had a very high success rate. Alleluia does take the stake blind there. Hexarian still, he does look to have dipped to red here. Also doing really surprisingly good damage though. That's impressive. Not so much the stakes and the screeches, which are expected, but the melee is coming out. Now, the expectation is that Alleluia will proc withstand at least once over the course of this match. The question is, does Hexarian have many withstands brewed? If he does, then the big question is Alleluia's output enough /Sun to either kill Hexarian right after the withstand proc before he can quaff another withstand, or to incapacitate him in some way. We did see nothing much at this point, just images being killed. Hexarian is still in red, obviously. Hexarian still getting some good screech damage off onto Alleluia. Alleluia actually dropping into red. It's important to know that Hexarian's first withstand did proc there, and he did have at least another gourd withstand available. Alleluia does attempt to capitalize off that. The first withstand has been quaffed. Now it is a matter of how many Hexarian has. Alleluia was healing there. He did go up to yellow from red. I would surmise that lightning bolt was going for an end cap. That might be the idea there, or it might just be to get a little extra damage off. This is very important to note what Alleluia is doing here. It's very smart. He is hitting the skeleton. He is hitting Hexarian's charmies so that he doesn't overload on damage and kill Hexarian. He is going for the incap here. If the incap lands, then he can wait it out until the withstand drops. It is not a very long duration. Alleluia does hit the skeleton again. He's going to go for screeches or fats here. He does get blinded there, so he can't actually target down Hexarian in the way that he would prefer. So he does back off there, presumably to hide and wait. Hexarian does pursue him, continuing to screech. This will be a lot of screech damage. And it does look as though Hexarian is still present. That was with the withstand proc. I missed it. Hexarian is still alive and did quaff another withstand. I think that the only viable option is to keep hitting the charmies if possible. That's strange. I don't remember. That was funny to see. That is the Necro Heal. Hexarian does take another hit. Does he quaff? He does quaff another withstand off that. That's very strange. I don't remember seeing the toast go global like that after a withstand proc. I have to get feedback afterward on that. I always assumed that you wouldn't see the toast proc globally until the player had actually died. Hexarian is still present, still screeching away. Alleluia is hitting Hexarian now. And still present, still quaffing the withstand. So I guess the toast does proc globally to some extent. Now this is demonstrated. Falric did tell me it's an old bug where charmies will proc the toast message to spot withstand procking. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Thanks, Falric. And at this point, this is what we were all waiting for. It is the withstand battle. Alleluia trying to get enough damage, but it's just not happening. It's very hard for an aerial druid to get that much output so as to kill the warlock outright. And again, I do believe, as irritating as it is, the most viable option here is to attack a charmy and go for the burst damage. Hope incap lands somewhere in there. There is a stun, but Hexarian does get toasted off that. Here's the next withstand quaff. Yes. Now the difficulty here is that Alleluia's charmies will toast off the screeches. Hexarian still staking, does take the toast there. He is in stake lag here, as the withstand procs. He does have time to quaff the next withstand though. This is the tough thing about aerial warlocks, as Ravel demonstrated a very long time ago. Hexarian isn't capped here, and the Raven again, the Elemental rather, kills Hexarian. The issue is that the Elemental is blocking Alleluia's attempt to incapacitate Hexarian. There is a stake blind as well. Hexarian is playing this incredibly well, it's important to note. He switches the stakes anytime that he wants to get a blind off to Alleluia so that he can't target him down. Hexarian is mortally wounded, and again, the Elemental hits again. At this point, I think it would be worthwhile to dismiss the Air Elemental. It has ruined 2 or 3 in cap mortally wounded attempts. Hexarian still doing very good damage. Curious to know how much mana Alleluia does have left. This is an uphill battle at this point. And that is the off-toss in Hexarian's favor. Very well fought. And the issue obviously was the question of, is the aerial druid going to have enough output to kill Hexarian off with stands? And if not, then obviously you have to get the incap off. Any thoughts?
I shouldn't have raided there because I lost concentration on heal afterwards, so I died.
I see. You had mana left?
I was looking at him. He only had one withstand left.
I see. That makes more sense then.
Yeah, there was multiple chances for incap. I should have just dismissed the Charmy, but I wanted the extra damage because I was losing.
I understand. Well, I intentionally did not locate. So if you were seeing one withstand left, then it was anybody's game.
I mean, he might have had some in the container, but
yeah, that's very true.
That's why I was going for raid. That's why I was going for raid blinds. They couldn't get them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I had 200 mana left, which if he had only one withstand left, is plenty.
Well, you could have killed him had you dismissed the elemental before the incap or the mortally wounded.
I lose all the Charmy here if I do that.
Yeah, I understand. Well, hindsight is 20/20. Obviously, you had two different chances there. If he did have one elemental or one withstand left and you blinded, he would have been in equal amounts of trouble. All in all, I'd say that was a very good fight.
I didn't know his protection in the beginning, and me not having the right protection for half the fight, so it cost me the match.
Yeah. Well, the blinds and then the cancel was very good. 14 eggs paid.
That was the only way to get rid of slow and the protection.
Yes, I know. 14 eggs. Well, you had to blind him, though. That was the key. So most people did bet on Alleluia there. I'm a little surprised to see those bets, because to me, an aerial warlock is a difficult match for an aerial druid.
It's because of my record.
I assume so. Well, I will say Hexarian did play very well for...
I did not think double slow gourds existed. I am wrong.
We were discussing that just before the match.
I think they're really rare.
I would assume so, yes.
Because if they were common, that'd be sort of stupid. Right?
Yes. Now, as far, my understanding is you brew the slow, and then you hope for RNG. That seems to make the most sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was blind part of the time, but I saw the incapacity.
Okay, Bronson does confirm that. He says 1 in 180 double slows. So if that's correct, that's exactly what you have to do.
So really low chance, in other words.
Very low chance. You would have to spend a lot of time brewing, but a lot of people have time. At this point, a lot of people work and then they just put their characters in game and and let RNG take care of it with scripts. Okay, so that's correct. You brew the slow and then you wait for another slow to land on that gourd.
I was pretty much on offensive the whole match. I didn't think he'd hit me that well.
Yeah, well, I knew that's why he was hitting as much, but you had to have output.
I don't think it really affected the outcome of the match, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either.
If that heal had gone off and he didn't have any in his container, he would.
I think that you had two chances to win, and both you came just shy of. And again, you attributed that to your ray, which stopped you from healing. But
well, I didn't think he'd hit me that much in the round.
Yeah,
I lost.
It was painful to see the elemental just kill your chances after each incap or mortally wounded.
I'm pretty sure you saw me intentionally try to get on his skeleton and then screech him, so he would try to get him incapacitated.
Yeah, that's right.
So he wouldn't take melee damage from me.
And we are seeing Trevnon and Graz in the next matchup.
The other thing is sometimes Screech does too much damage, so that's why I was trying Lightning Bolt, because it does less.
Sure. We are seeing Wimmock Warrior versus Mole Brewmaster. So This is an
I don't
intriguing.
see any scenario where Graz loses this match.
It's really intriguing because Mole Brewmaster actually seems pretty sturdy when you don't take saves into account. So
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Mole in general is pretty amazing against hitters. It's just a matter of when saves are an issue, then they're like the worst race in the game. Well, I take that back. John Ogre is, but. So we are going to see an interesting match. Again, just to sum up a little bit of history, Wimmick Warrior used to be a really good race class combination. Notably, there was a character named Ediseth who did really well in the AGL. I believe he was even crowned champion. Mole, too, around the year 2006, if I'm not mistaken, became amazing for a number of years. They had the extra AC reduction, they saved like gods, and they were just the best for anything. I mean, at least in terms of hitters, because a Mole Warrior was amazing. Thrux took that combination and destroyed with it, and so did Mane, and so did Durgan. So any hitter top, Mole used to be amazing. Odds are 2-1 in favor of Graz.
Sorry for all the typing. I'm sort of reorganizing my Charmy here.
You're fine. You could just wait until after we're done casting.
No, man, I gotta do it now or I'll forget.
It's pretty OCD of you, Albert.
Yeah, man. And I type it manually, too, because I didn't write an alias to reorganize.
We are 3 minutes until. So, talking a little bit of strategy. My assumption is that Graz will go for the very reliable blind and get a Charmy up as soon as he can. Just because of why not? Why wouldn't you do that? And if he does, really, Trevnon is going to have enormous difficulty because, from what I understand, the blind is very reliable, and for 2, Charmies against hitters when the enemy player has a blind is just really, really tough as nails.
Not to mention the Brewmaster blind does extra damage to Trevnon because he's Wemik.
Yeah. Why not, right? Why not?
Yeah,
And I assume pile that on there.
Yeah.
And I assume Trevnon does not have skins. But I'm not.
I think he has 1.
Okay, he has 1 skin, so not much in terms of reduction there. Not doing any locating tonight because I'm comfy. So I apologize additionally if I ignore your roleplay. Or what Asjub considers roleplay.
Sure.
Elfsh. I'm just kidding around, George. We are close to the beginning of the match. One minute to be exact. We've seen quite a few Brewmasters in the AGL of late. I think it's kind of funny because it actually reminds me when AGL was being introduced for the first time, one of the first players to ever play in a test AGL match was Beryl. And he was a human jongler, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so that was really funny to see for the first time. Now we're seeing the new Bard class again. Go for it. So we are 30 seconds until. $15 now. The match will begin momentarily. And every player is shaking a little bit with trepidation before they go. They want to be the first one to get into that room. You can imagine that Fat Boy Slim song playing right here, right now. We do see the blonde start right off bat.
Yeah.
Graz is blonde as well, but it makes no difference at all in getting the spirit up. Honestly, what Trevnon should have done was put the dirt on the spirit. Would have been better. Oh, I suppose he couldn't. He couldn't because he was blinded, obviously. Does the blonde stack on top of the blonde?
I think it does.
It does refresh the ticks. That's horrible.
I'm not sure, though.
That is the worst. Somebody should send me a tell and let me know if that's the truth, because that's so much harder. We aren't seeing much yet. Graz just getting little bits of extra damage off. If he is able to keep that blind up reliably, this will be a relatively slow but effective match in Graz's favor. The blind does land again. Graz is blinded, but the spirit still rescues. Again, it doesn't really make much difference. Okay, that's not too bad. If it's a one tick blind, that's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it's one tick.
I thought that it was 0 + 1 or something.
No, they changed it.
They changed it. Okay, so it used to be. That was a good change. That was a very good change. We are again seeing the no-fail blind in Graz's favor, followed by mostly no-fail blinds by Trevnon. So that's interesting, but Graz is still doing more damage to Trevnon than the opposite. There's the blind again, right off the tick. Graz will get the Spirit Rescue off this failed bash. Maybe not, maybe he doesn't care. Trevnon does dip into yellow, and Trevnon does flee. Failed bash is very tough on hitters.
Yeah, for sure.
There always used to be the fear in field PK and everything else that if you failed a bash and you got dispelled, you could just die outright, just cold. There's the dirt kick on Graz. Not too effective because it only had a few seconds left. Momentarily, Graz does blind off that. Trevnon misses his charge. And we are seeing a little extra damage from Graz here. That could be Falric if it is spammable on top of the tick. Like Dirt Kick used to be. That's what you're saying, right? Until it got changed.
Yeah.
By Dekios, I believe, is the one that suggested that. But yeah, if it is spammable, that's pretty effective.
Yeah, I don't understand why some skills are spammable on the tick and some aren't.
Well, it doesn't. It's an incongruity because if you changed Dirt Kick because of a player losing in the AGL years ago, and the same mechanic is available in the form of another skill, why is that the case?
I don't know.
You either change Dirt Kick back or you make all the skills the same. Because if you ruled that it was unfair back then you have to change it by logic. But that's one of those very minute things that probably don't get mentioned in threads, so they get forgotten until specific points. We are just seeing Trevnon slowly whittle down here. Graz is healing. Really have not seen much output from Trevnon to begin with. To boot, should Graz be doing that much damage? I mean, that was a Devastate down. Another Fireball Blonde. The charge does land there, but it's the center of the Colosseum. Not a very difficult flee. I do want to see Graz's next melee noun on Trevnon. It's around how it decimates and Flaming Bot. Okay, so it's just... He is protected, right? It's just the noun kicking in. He doesn't have the skin, so he's just taking more damage.
Well, what secondary weapon is he using?
I don't see anything. I just see the Himps going.
No, Gra. Oh wait, why is the nun? I don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Don't you see Graz's nun death?
Yeah, I do.
Is that a bug?
It is a bug. I mean, there's no other explanation for that.
That should have been the primary hit from Pugil, right?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's strange. Trevnon does dip into red there. He flees off the blind, so he is stuck. Falric is saying that the nun down is the cripple stance proc.
It's possible, I guess.
Trevnon does finally do some great damage off that charge stun. It's not really about it being a bug. It's about the word needs to be clarified in the code. Trevnon is finally getting some damage off here. Ra is still doing substantial damage just because of the lack of fire skins. I mean, to be honest, when you pick a furry, it's not... Bronson did say that it was Slosh Falric, if you're still listening. But, yeah, fire vuln races aren't really viable anymore in arenas unless you get the skins up. Of course, I would still play anyway just to get the experience, and then you save your hours or whatever, and then you get an extra skin, and then you have all that experience, and then you can start playing for real. I mean, there's no reason not to queue up, still get the experience you need to be competitive. Trevnon is finally getting some damage off, mostly because of these charges, but the Gross is not fleeing because he doesn't need to. I think he knows that he's very comfortable here. It's not... He doesn't care if the charges land. There is the blind again. It's really interesting because Brewmaster is kind of, I mean, along with Charlatan, it's the most efficient blinding class, so it's something new that we're seeing. There's the blind again, right off the tick. It's important to note Graz is playing this very well. I mean, yeah, okay, you have something like a blind that's going to land ultra reliably. I don't think we've seen one fail yet, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't really fail.
Yeah, so then he has done that off the top of the tick each time. So this has to be frustrating from Trevnon's end. Because if he can spam it, as was mentioned earlier in this thread, then that's just really tough. That was like having to fight old school dirt kick, and that was never fun. It's funny because all of those changes that we used to have, 50%, wimpy, spammable dirt kick, old school healthy, 2 human warriors could fight for 2 hours and both live. I did void there. It's my fault for being lazy and not typing commands in.
Yeah, you lazy motherfucker. Trevin is deep into wimpy.
Yep.
Graz is still in yellow. So.
Well, Graz is probably only in yellow because he just stood there in the center of the Coliseum being charged because he didn't need to flee.
Yeah, I know. And there's the... just as he gets blinded.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a sick round. For him. For him it was.
Nah, for Trevnum. Yeah. Once again, we see Roundhouse landing on everything.
Yes. That's actually really strong. How are Brewmasters on health? Trevnon should be going down here very shortly.
They're pretty healthy.
Like, do they get health more similar to Charlatans or Jongs?
Probably Jongs.
Jongs. Still really efficient. I mean, that blind is more... It's better than Dirt Kick in every way, and then you still have Roundhouse and you still have Spirit. So it's probably a fun class to play. Graz is doing Devastates again.
He finally dips in the red.
Yeah, he's fun. Trevnon has to be dying shortly here. That was a unsynced round, though. Still got to keep up on that. There's the blonde, which procs Wimpy.
Trevenant took him forever to switch out mana gear. That's a big hit damn loss. Not that it matters, but just say.
Well, the main thing is definitely Flame Vuln here in the blonde.
Yeah.
Graz is healing.
They're like a way better charlatan.
Yeah, they are. He does go into yellow there. I would still say that they're balanced for the most part, but yeah, there we go.
First miss we saw.
Tony's changing it as we speak. He's changing the cogs. It's like, let me just take that down a notch. But yeah, I mean, Brewmaster is still a niche class. Like, you would still have to have the right race class combos to fight against to win, but it looks pretty decent in this fight against an unskinned Flame Vuln warrior.
I mean, sorry guys, there's not much to say about this match, really.
No, it is just winding down, and then we'll see if we have a third match to place. Is Orden still on?
There is a third match.
Okay.
There are 3 matches.
I know that Orden prays virtually every night that he can, so we might see him again.
Roundhouse misses too. What is this?
I think we should see an update.
Just everything is missing. Do you see all these misses?
Yeah, I do. I think we should see an update on the contender list soon, just because that one is very outdated, right? Narwhal has had an extra fight. Perrin dipped into...
The one on the webpage is sort of outdated, yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Both are in red. Graz does go back into yellow immediately. That's the one good thing about a blonde like
now
that.
He decides to go to dual wield.
You're never going to have an issue using your full pull. Okay, I will look on the webpage.
Pretty sure that one is not up to date as in the past few months.
Okay. Updated monthly is what we're told. Oh, Graz does mangle Trevenant here. He does get the sank off that. He's using Divine Sanctuary Potions, which is good.
Trevenant charges the spirit.
Oh, that was a huge round. The skin did work 3 times there.
Yeah, approximately.
It worked 3 times, so that was good. No, I believe in you, Alistair. I do think... I'm not sure what the mechanism is for you guys judging the competitors, but I do think that if you have a losing record, you probably shouldn't be on the top 10.
You shouldn't, or you should?
You should not. It just seems like a...
It's a lot based on wins and like how many matches you've had too.
Yeah, but I think that should
be like 13 and 50 and be like number 2.
Yeah, I don't think that should be the case though. And Trevenant does get rocked by Graz. It's very efficient. I would say you take a number of wins, and then after that number, if the percentage is really good, then that person should be considered for the contender list over somebody who's 1932 or something like that. Oh, I'm going to get the sausage. There we go.
Yeah, I know you like eating those sausages.
There we go. I'll eat anything that keeps me from being hungry.
Oh, man, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan.
That's right. You think I'm bad, you should get to talk to Grayson. I'm pretty sure he has some skeletons.
We know.
I'm pretty sure he's done some horrible things in his life. Okay, it is judged off record and activity. That makes sense. And that's actually a really good point, as we've seen the same faces over and over again over the course of the past couple of months.
Grendel and Vazaf haven't been on the fight forever.
Yeah. That is a very fair statement, though, is if somebody's more active, they should be on there. At the same time, I think it's important to note, I mean, if you guys are seeing people with losing records on the contender list, why aren't you going into the AGL more? We've seen the same.
People don't like to sign up.
Yeah, well, people like to be passive, it seems, more, but I'd like to see more people in there. It's a great trial by fire. And I would say 1 versus 1 combat is one of the easiest formats in the game.
For sure.
We are just waiting for the third and final match of the night. I'm going to try to guess who it's going to be.
I will say Ixaquees and Rezikir.
That could be. Oridan isn't even on, so it can't be him.
Or it could be Ixaquees and Plyke. I'm pretty sure Ixaquees is one of them.
Okay, we will see if Ixie can stop the trash talk. I'm trying to downgrade him on the contender list, so maybe he has something to show me. There was a match added, apparently. Oh, that's just mentioning the 3 in total?
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't going to fight, but he really wanted to fight, so they let him fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I assume there's still just 3.
We'll see.
So Rezikir prays all the time. Plyke prays all the time.
Ixaquees is in the... And it is Rezikir in the other room.
Okay, so we have the 2 Blade Singers. Both of these guys... Rezikir is relatively inexperienced, right?
Doesn't matter. There's no way a Shadow Elf Singer is going to beat a Wild Elf.
Right, but Rezikir is relatively inexperienced,
yes,
correct?
Relatively.
And Ixie has been there quite a while, but sometimes he'll use sort of diversified tactics as opposed to the ones that a lot of other singers use.
And there is going to be one more fight after this.
Okay, so we have 4 fights. That's cool. I am looking forward to it. I am interested to see this match, though, because we've said this before, but what you want in a match is to have 2 classes that aren't necessarily hard counters. In this case, it's a mirror. And you want 2 characters who are on relatively the same wavelength. That's when you get the really great matches. And that counts for low, middle, and high skill caps.
But sometimes you just have to play whoever they have available too.
That's true. Yeah. No, I think Alistair, Shrek, and Scorn have done phenomenal jobs in resurrecting this league. The only thing I would like is that people step up and play more, because I'd love to see new names.
Yeah.
And we aren't too difficult on the players, I don't think. We mostly just talk on mechanics, so don't be afraid to jump in, guys.
Rezikir is favored.
You'll still have plenty of time to commentate, Falric. There'll be time.
The reason you're not on the cast, Falric, is 3-way is very awkward on cast.
Yes, it is. And in real life. But it's awkward both ways.
It depends who the 3-way is, man.
That's true.
Only you make it awkward, man. You'll be awkward. True. Alan and Grayson together would be awkward.
What, in real life?
Yeah. If there was a 3-way. Man.
Oh, that would be super awkward. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think I'd agree to that, but
yeah.
Knowing Grayson, he'd
probably
be
drunk and maybe you wouldn't have a choice.
Grayson would probably slip something into my drink like shrooms and then, try to coerce me.
That past Grayson.
It's only awkward if you make eye contact. Okay. Sounds good. We are just waiting momentarily here. Mirror matches I always love casting because you never know what both players are going to do, how they're going to approach it. Some things are kind of obvious, like you know how a paladin is going to fight another Shadow Knight, but Bladesinger has enough. We've talked about this a very long time. They have enough of an arsenal that you don't really know what they're going to do in approaching this.
Yep.
We are at the 2-minute mark. It's an interesting title, Ixie. Forsooth. Bets are reportedly close, which is always nice to see. It's good to see when people don't necessarily know who's going to win. The thing is, I haven't seen Ixie diversify his play enough and consistently execute in such a way that he's going to outplay this Wild Elf Bladesinger. If both Bladesingers just play an average game, then the Wild Elf wins by default. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
So we will know in 30 seconds. It must really, really just irritate Shalinesti elves to continuously be beat by Wilder Bloods. Must be a thing. I always wanted to see like a revolution by the Shafalis or something. Like that would be so much fun in terms of role play. Supposedly it's precluded by I don't want to say the imp staff, but supposedly the order in place. But why not? Why not have like a proletariat revolution? We are 15 seconds. No, we are at the go line, so we are seeing both players now. Rezakur is immediately doing a lot more damage to Ixie. Yeah, Shalinesti Purist War. Why not? That would be even cooler. I mean, let's say the mechanics are in place to support it. Wild Elves consistently are better than Shalinesti Elves, at least physically, at least in terms of the song, which is supposed to be like the religion for elves, right? So
yeah,
if Wild Elves are better in every way, then why aren't they just trying to organize a revolution? This is going relatively slow. Rezakur is doing a lot more damage in terms of pure ratio.
As we expected.
Yeah. Ixie would have had to pull off something serious. I mean, like chaining, I guess. Chains will do more to a Wild Elf than the other, and you would get some damage off there.
There's a Raider.
Yeah. So Ixie does... No, Rezakur hit it.
That's Rezakur's Raider.
So Rezakur... Okay, well, never mind.
Rezakur gets weakened.
He does get weakened, okay. He's going to take another chain now.
Gear or not. To be honest, I don't think it matters that much.
If Ixie keeps being chained, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And he's hitting enough to just vamp you forever.
Well, not forever.
That's right. Ixie does hit Rez again off that. Let's see if Rez does any damage off this weekend. Not yet.
Until he hits.
Yeah.
What was he doing before? Injures?
Yeah, and he was hitting a lot more like that, but...
Did Rezakur not bless?
He does get plagued. This is interesting.
Well, the thing is, Ixie still has to do the damage.
To be honest, Rezakur could probably cancel...
He does not have strength gear because he's doing less,
yeah.
I believe. He's not blind, shouldn't he have... Ixie's reading red, though.
Rezakur can... Okay, that was a good blind. Does Rezakur have any prep whatsoever? Like, whatsoever?
He's running white to red. He can just cancel the blind in the weekend.
Yeah, but is he going to do it?
He should.
Well, don't... There's an escape, so he's not canceling it.
Let me send him a tell because I want to win my money.
Don't send any tells. Don't do it, Albert. I
In
want
case you don't know, Potions of Escape got nerfed.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Well,
I think I'm not going to be presumptuous, but we talked about this a few casts ago, and we said that
Regigear gets disarmed.
So I'm glad that Tony lowered the level because I think that's really fair.
Yeah.
Regigear does dip into yellow there. He does flee off that disarm. He does rewield.
So he should cancel right now and not use escapes.
I
don't understand.
I like that weapon. He does
And
get the blind off
lands.
there. Yeah. If
I think
Regigear,
Regigear didn't notice himself get weakened because he should have put diamond bracelets on. He might not have noticed.
Let's see if he has them.
I thought you weren't gonna locate.
I'm less lazy now. I want to see. He does not have diamond bracelets, at least not in inventory. He does get plagued off again after that. This is interesting because really, if Regigear, I don't know if he blessed or not, but all it would take is a few moments to not be blind to Acid Blast Ixie to death. Like, it wouldn't take that much to win. As it is, Ixie's getting a lot of burst damage off.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, just Acid Blast now.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. If Ixie's doing more damage because of the racial difference, and Regigear is red now. But if Ixie is too low, then he needs to like.
Ixie's already low into red.
Yeah. But if Ixie's too low and Regigear is blonde and plagued, then go summon a Charmy and just spam chain on him in another room.
There's a disarm.
You're saying Regigear.
You guys are
greenish
AGL
chunkies?
fighters. Stop using 2-tick Zank potions. Yeah. Please.
Never good news.
Especially if you're saying
Ixie did summon. He did summon.
And he's vamping.
So this is a win-win for Ixie because he's getting damage off, and he
shouldn't have summoned that post though, because it's not sanked. It's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, he's still getting chains off, and he's still vamping extra health. So it's a win-win for him. Regigear did move into the room. Regigear is just taking a lot of damage here. He does cancel there.
Finally.
Does not get the. Was he blind to begin with? Or
He wasn't blind.
Okay, that's good. But
it was just weakened.
It does look as though Ixie is getting some non-pro Sanks off, or Acid Blast off, though.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be that high. It was much lower before. So Ixie's just doing a ton more damage. Neither have procced into Wimpy yet.
He doesn't have protection up.
Mangle. You do not want to circle stab.
Is that the first circle stab we saw this fight?
Yeah. But he doesn't want to do it at this point, I don't think.
Yeah. Ixie looks like he's out of mana.
For one, I'm pretty sure Regigear is not spelled up.
Alright, if you're fighting an elf, use a figurine of the green dragon, please. Don't use white. They take more damage.
Yep, he is zapping away.
I don't know what Regigear is trying to do.
And that is the toast by Ixiequiz.
Wow, that was poorly done by Regigear.
I want to say very well done by Ixie, though, because he did everything he needed to do to win. He used his spell damage from Intellect to beat the Wild Elf. Obviously, if Regigear is carrying well oils and he has strength gear, then it makes no difference whatsoever.
All he had to do was cancel at the beginning when he got weakened.
Yeah, but he did resort to the escapes, which were level 25. Not much change there.
Did he have diamond bracelets?
He did not have them in the locate. He might have had them in inventory.
Yeah, I don't.
But that in and of itself, you don't want to have diamond bracelets in your sack.
Is that the last fight, or is there one more?
We shall see. Good job by Ixiequiz in capitalizing on that spell damage.
Well done, Ixiequiz. Regigear, get on people's level.
I'm proud of you, man. I am. That's Wild Elf is a counter to your race class, and you did really well. If we can get clarification on this being the final match, then we will wrap this up.
There will probably be AGL tomorrow too, because tomorrow's a Monday.
Sure, I should be able to make it. I am moving on the 17th, but I'll be back.
Moving where? Canada?
I'm moving to Murfreesboro instead of Nashville. It's only 15 miles away, but it's close to the university.
Gotcha. We're still waiting for confirmation if there's one more fight or not.
We're just seeing the weapons returned. All things considered, these were fun matches tonight.
Speak for yourself, man. There is one more fight.
There is one more fight. Okay, we'll see who's on the plank.
I want to guess. Well, I think Plyker or Zolthus is one of them.
Zolthus does prey up every single AGL knot.
Plyke does too, but
Yeah.
they fought before, so there's no reason to. Falric is a potential.
Swashbuckler and Kid and Zolthus.
Oh boy. So I know a pirate beats Zolthus badly, but I don't think a Swash can beat a Scald. Like, period.
We'll see. Kid is still Kid.
They just defend so well, and plus spirits.
I think that's true. I think that Zolthus has great defenses. We'll see how this plays out. All I can say is that Dropkick is really good in landing, but you have to have the damage output, and Zolthus can heal. Yep. Kid can pretty much have free range.
I like how he said a half dwarf Scald.
Yeah, that's right. Half dwarf. I like that too. That's pretty great. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. You are. What will be interesting is Kid can still pretty much have free reign to like Flea Reinit, Vampy, Dirt, all kinds of stuff. It's just doesn't make any difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't do enough. You can't break Scald defenses too well.
Yes.
If you drop kick, that's still Zolthus will still hit you a lot.
I think so too.
Plus, if he drop kicks and the spirit isn't blind, he can just rescue. But we were proven wrong in the last